gentlemen, if you're looking for the very best versatile fragrances for men, then you're in the right spot, because in this video I will show you 5 of the very best versatile men's fragrances that you can wear every single day, any season, any occasion, any moment. So let's not waste any more time and let's begin. The very first fragrance is one of my most complimented ones on this list, and that is Maison Kurkdjian Amyris Homme Extrait. This fragrance is one of the very best versatile fragrances for men out there on the market, period. This fragrance can be described scent-wise as a designer fragrance, but executed in a niche way with niche quality. This starts off in the opening by smelling very fresh, bright, clean, and a little effervescent with a citrusy touch, with a little bit of tanginess and sweetness, but the longer you wait, the more it's going to open up and develop. It starts very fresh, soapy, clean, but there is going to be a little bit of warm spiciness from cinnamon and saffron, giving you some additional warmth and effervescence. Even lower down in the development, you're going to pick up on some iris to give you some powdery floral texture to add even more lift and effervescence. And in the base and later dry down, you're going to pick up on some smooth, almost transparent woodiness here to give you a solid yet clean base, with the Amyris giving you a slightly warm, ambery, but somewhat sweet base to it as well, accompanied with vanilla that goes with the Amyris really well, because Amyris smells like a woody, transparent, fresh amber with vanillic touches, which is paired up with the vanilla very well in the base. So it's not going to be sweet by any means, but you are going to pick up on some slightly vanillic additional nuance with the different textures and nuances popping through here and there. But mostly this is fresh, clean, bright, soapy, with lots of lift, volume, and effervescence. Even though it is a little bit pricey, it is paid for. Such an easy reach. Compliment factor is there, and the performance on this one is impeccable. On my skin, MFK Amyris Homme Extrait lasts 12 plus hours, with projection being an arm's length, if not more, for around an hour and a half, which then dries to a moderate scent bubble and at some point a mild but noticeable skin scent. Very inoffensive, very easy to wear, but at the same time a compliment magnet. I've given Maison Kurkdjian Amyris Homme Extrait de Parfum an 8.9 out of 10 men's improvement rating. If you haven't checked this one out already, you need to do so. Next up on the list, the most expensive one here, and that is going to be Roja Parfum Burlington 1819. This is my most recent pickup from the list here, and it's one that I've been wanting for so long. This has a very bright, sparkly, almost organic smelling citrusy opening that smells like no other, and something that only Roja can encapsulate in terms of this very bright and almost lively citrus opening here. But whenever it starts to dry and develop, some of the more characteristic nuances get to poke through, with some warm, slightly leathery and animalic funky cumin coming through, giving this citrusy heavy fragrance and a funk, but in a very elegant way. And then in the late dry down, you're also going to pick up on some warm spices like tobacco and vanilla in the base to give everything a deeper, denser, but still very fresh, smooth, rounder base to give off this very elegant, sophisticated, and multi-layered scent here. On my skin, Roja Parfum Burlington 1819 lasts 8 to 10 hours, with projection being an arm's length for around an hour or two, which then dries to a moderate scent bubble and then a mild skin scent that lingers for a couple of more hours. This fragrance is no joke because of the price tag, but even though it is very expensive, you can literally wear this any day, any season, any occasion, every single day, and for that type of price tag you should be able to do so as well, in my opinion. I've given Roja Parfum Burlington 1819 a 9.1 out of 10 men's improvement rating. If this was a tad bit more affordable, it would have gotten even higher of a rating, but nonetheless, try this one out if you haven't already. You will understand why I love the opening of this fragrance so much. This smells of such high quality. Third one up, it's going to be Chanel Bleu de Chanel L'Exclusif. By far the least fresh option version on this list, but still very wearable for almost any occasion. This carries the Bleu de Chanel Blue shower jelly like scent, but by far in the most base heavy, most woody, amber woody like way. This has a cold smelling opening as if there would be something like lavender and mint, but that feeling quickly gets swallowed up by the very dense, base heavy, woody, amber woody, resinous, sticky and slightly sweet but not sickly sweet labdanum, giving you by far the most ambery, warm way of executing this blue fragrance like DNA. This has this blue shower jelly like scent, but it's much more sophisticated, much more grown up, much more mature than any of the other versions of Bleu de Chanel, and this has by far the least lift, so it's not going to project a lot, but it definitely still packs a punch, and that's for sure. This has complement factor, it has a sexy quality because of the dark woodiness combined with the sticky ambery sensation, giving you a very masculine, sophisticated, elegant scent that is very versatile, but it's not your typical blue fragrance. Even though I feel like it's the most overpriced Bleu de Chanel, it's still in my opinion the best Bleu de Chanel, if that makes sense. On my skin, Chanel Bleu de Chanel L'Exclusif lasts 8 to 10 hours, with projection being a very dense scent bubble for the first 2 hours of wear, which then dries to a mild skin scent afterwards, which lingers for a good amount of hours and doesn't really bother anyone. Again, somewhat expensive, but I can justify it, especially if you're going to wear this very often, and I've given Chanel Bleu de Chanel L'Exclusif an 8.9 out of 10 men's improvement rating. If you're still curious about this version of Bleu de Chanel, I can highly recommend checking out my video up here in the corner. It is one of my personal favorites from Chanel from now on. Next up, in my opinion, objectively speaking, the best one on this list and the fragrance with the highest men's improvement rating on this list, it's going to be Goldfield and Banks Ingenious Ginger. This fragrance might be the most fun out of all of them to wear on a daily basis because this fragrance has a very heavy dose of sweet yet bright and zingy citruses combined with a very tangy and almost bittersweet ginger, giving you this very bright, fizzy, sparkly but still fresh opening, with the opening almost smelling like a champagne, with a couple of different florals to give you some additional soft floral texture to make the fragrance feel very light and soft, but with a base consisting of some amber, some woods, perhaps some cashmere and a lot of vanilla in the base to give you this warm, sweet, woody sensation that amps up the opening even more. This makes sure that the fizzy bright opening lingers for hours and hours on end. It's ridiculous. On my skin, Goldfield and Banks Ingenious Ginger lasts 15 plus hours, with projection being an arm's length for a couple of hours, which then dries to a moderate scent bubble for an hour more or so, which then dries to a mild but noticeable skin scent that is sweet and somewhat vanillic in its dry down. If you haven't tried this one out yet, do yourself a favor and do so. But nonetheless, I've given Goldfield and Banks Ingenious Ginger a 9.5 out of 10 men's improvement rating. This is one of Goldfield and Banks' finest fragrances in my opinion, if not the best one, because this is so versatile, so compliment pulling and such a fun wear. Last but definitely not least, one that I won't speak too much about is going to be Creed Aventus. You knew this was coming already because this is tested throughout time. It works and it will always work. It's one of the best men's fragrances out there. This is a woody, fresh, fruity fragrance with some pineapple at the top, with some apple and black currant, giving you this juicy, rindy, fruity opening with some florals to give you some texture in the mid so it doesn't feel flat, and some oak moss, fresh patchouli and birch to give you this distinctive woody yet fresh and damp feeling whenever this gets to project and get on your skin. This is a signature scent worthy fragrance. It's a no-brainer, it's a dumb reach. You can wear this anywhere, anytime, any season, any day. And for some reason, if you don't know much about Creed Aventus, check my video up here in the corner. You will know everything there is to know about Creed Aventus for sure. I've given Creed Aventus a 9.3 out of 10 men's improvement rating, and you should know this by now, but if you don't, I highly recommend checking out my reviews on it. Gentlemen, that was it. What do you think? What fragrance do you love wearing every single day, and what do you think is the best everyday daily driver fragrance? Comment down below with your suggestions and favorites. I would love to see what you have to say down there, and perhaps give me and other people in the comment section a nice recommendation for a daily driver that can be worn every single day, that is very versatile, appealing, and compliment pulling. Also, if you enjoyed this, don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to the Men's Improvement YouTube channel for more videos about fragrances, grooming, style, fashion, skincare, fitness, watches, everything that will make you, gentlemen, the best possible versions of yourselves. The last few things that I want to ask you, gentlemen, is to smile more because it's free, and I want you to watch these two videos right here. This one here will go to my latest upload rest. This one up here is going to be video that the YouTube algorithm thinks you will enjoy.